In the annals of true crime, few cases have captivated the imagination quite like the story of Jack the Ripper. This infamous figure terrorized the streets of Victorian London, not just through his gruesome acts, but also through the veil of mystery that has shrouded his identity for over a century. Even today, the name Jack the Ripper evokes a chilling curiosity, a sense of horror mixed with the allure of an unsolved puzzle. His brutal killings and the unanswered questions surrounding them continue to haunt the world of criminal history. The murders that shook Whitechapel. In the late 1880s, London's East End was a bustling hub of life, a melting pot of cultures, trades, and ambitions. Yet beneath this vibrancy lay a dark reality. Poverty was rampant, crime was pervasive, and the district of Whitechapel, in particular, became a breeding ground for despair. Overcrowded slums, dimly lit streets, and the clamor of survival defined life here. The residents, many of whom were immigrants and laborers, faced daily struggles that left little room for hope. It was in this grim backdrop that Jack the Ripper struck, preying on women who were among the most vulnerable in society. His reign of terror was swift and merciless. Between August and November 1888, he is believed to have brutally murdered at least 5 women, infamously known as the Canonical Five. Each killing was marked by a disturbing level of violence and an almost clinical precision, suggesting a killer who either possessed medical knowledge or reveled in gruesome rituals. The fear that gripped Whitechapel was palpable. The Ripper's presence cast a shadow over the city, creating a climate of suspicion and paranoia. The murders not only shocked the residents, but also drew attention from the wider public, turning this corner of London into a macabre stage for one of history's most infamous crime sprees. Who were the victims? The lives of Mary Ann Nichols, Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, Catherine Eddowes, and Mary Jane Kelly were tragically cut short, their stories often overshadowed by the mystery of their killer. These women were not merely victims. They were individuals with histories, struggles, and dreams, each trying to navigate the harsh realities of life in Whitechapel. Mary Ann Nichols, the first confirmed victim, was discovered on August 31st, 1888. Known as Polly to her friends, she had fallen on hard times, struggling with alcoholism and poverty. Her murder set the stage for the horrors to come. Annie Chapman's death on September 8th was even more brutal. Annie, a mother of 3, had lived a life marred by hardship and personal loss. The manner of her killing suggested an escalation in the Ripper's methods, leaving investigators both horrified and baffled. Elizabeth Stride and Catherine Eddowes met their tragic ends on the same night, September 30th, 1888, in what has since been called the double event. Elizabeth's murder bore signs of an interruption, perhaps sparing her the extreme mutilation seen in the other cases. Catherine, however, was not so fortunate. Her body was discovered just 45 minutes later, grotesquely mutilated in Mitre Square. Mary Jane Kelly, the Ripper's final known victim, was killed on November 9, 1888. Her murder was the most gruesome of all. The young woman, who had once been described as vivacious and full of life, was found in her small room, her body horrifically mutilated. The crime shocked even the most seasoned investigators and marked the end of the Ripper's bloody rampage, or at least the end of the documented killings. The letters and the media frenzy. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Jack the Ripper case is the role of the media. Victorian London was experiencing a boom in literacy, and newspapers were eager to capitalize on the public's growing appetite for sensational stories. The Ripper case became a media phenomenon, with papers competing to provide the most lurid and dramatic accounts of the murders. The name Jack the Ripper itself originated from letters sent to the press and police, purportedly written by the killer. The most famous of these, the "Dear Boss" letter, taunted authorities with its chilling tone and signature. Another letter, known as the Saucy Jack postcard, hinted at the double event before the details were publicly known, further adding to its credibility. But were these letters genuine? Many experts believe they were hoaxes, penned by journalists or pranksters seeking to fan the flames of hysteria. Regardless of their authenticity, the letters helped shape the legend of Jack the Ripper, turning a local killer into an international figure of infamy. The investigation and theories. The investigation into the Ripper killings was one of the most extensive of its time, Scotland Yard and the Metropolitan Police poured resources into the case, conducting interviews, following leads, and analyzing evidence. However, the limitations of 19th century forensic science hampered their efforts. Fingerprinting was not yet in use, DNA analysis was over a century away, and the chaotic nature of Whitechapel streets made it nearly impossible to track the killer's movements. Over the years, numerous theories have emerged about Jack the Ripper's identity. Some suggest he was a local man with an intimate knowledge of Whitechapel's labyrinthine alleys. Others believe he was a professional with medical training, as the precision of the mutilations hinted at anatomical knowledge. Among the many suspects are Montague John Druitt, a barrister whose suicide shortly after the murders raised suspicions, Aaron Kosminski, a Polish immigrant with a history of mental illness, and even Walter Sickert, a well-known artist whose macabre paintings fueled speculation about his involvement. Some theories have even implicated members of the royal family, though these claims are largely dismissed by historians. The case of Jack the Ripper remains one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. It has inspired countless books, films, and academic studies, cementing the Ripper's place in popular culture. Yet for all the fascination, it is vital to remember the human cost. The women who died were not just victims of a killer, but also of the harsh societal conditions that left them vulnerable. Their stories serve as a stark reminder of the inequalities and struggles faced by the marginalized. The Ripper's killings were not merely acts of violence. They were a symptom of a broader societal failure to protect those most in need. Jack the Ripper's name may be synonymous with mystery and terror, but his true legacy lies in the unanswered questions he left behind. As historians, criminologists, and true crime enthusiasts continue to delve into this dark chapter of history, we are reminded of the importance of compassion, vigilance, and the pursuit of truth. While the identity of Jack the Ripper may remain a mystery, the lives he took and the lessons they impart must never be forgotten. Thank you for watching this episode of Untold Voices. If you enjoyed diving into this story and want to uncover more chilling mysteries and untold truths, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Your support helps us keep these stories alive. See you in the next one.